Depreciation is the ultimate gift of real estate investment. Saved it for last in this little mini series on real estate investing and wealth. And it is the most amazing concept where you get to literally write off as a depreciating asset something that is indeed appreciating. It's the number one thing that makes real estate stand apart. I'm gonna make sure you understand how to use it right here in this video. Hey guys, I'm Dan Beer, Beer Home Team here, eXp Realty in San Diego, ready to serve anybody you know that needs help. Let's jump into how depreciation works. When you buy a home, let's just take a single family home. Okay, any real estate though, the same concept would apply for commercial properties, multifamily properties, but let's just think of a single family home. That home, let's call it $1 million property. Well, the government will not let you write off the land value, only the value of what they call the improvements. So if you ever look at your tax assessment, you'll see that it's actually divided into two sections. There's the land value that it's been given, or the land assessment, and the improvements. So the improvements, depending on the property, could be anywhere from 50% to 60%. Every now and then you'll see a little bit more in terms of California real estate. Or at least Southern California real estate here in San Diego. Other parts of the country, by the way, they could see as much as 70%, 80% allocated to the improvement side where land is cheaper. But here you might see, just for the sake of this example, let's call it 50% so I could just do the math easily. So if you have $1 million property, 500,000 of it, well, that's land that can't be depreciated, it can't be written off. But the structure, the government considers that the structure is actually a depreciating asset that is essentially deteriorating over time, that it has a lifespan. And in very many ways, they're really right, because if you think about any property that isn't given care, isn't given maintenance over the course of decades, it will go to basically being a teardown, right? It will completely, it'll become a dilapidated property. So the government allows you to write off those $500,000 of improvement value, right, or the structure, over a 26-year schedule. So you divide 500,000, you divide it by 26, and you can take that amount and literally write it off. I'm gonna just pull my calculator out to make this complete for you. So if I get to the calculator and I do 500,000 times divided by 26, 500,000. See the beauty of real-time video. 500,000 divided by 26, that they'll allow you to write off $19,230 a year against your passive income. So if that property is producing $19,000 or so in income, because you actually get $19,000 or so in depreciation write-off, the gain you don't have to pay taxes on. Now that depreciation you have to catch up on. Okay, so eventually when you sell the home, you have to pay the depreciation back, but that's where the 1031 exchange comes in with even more value, which we talked about in a previous video. If you don't have that video, just simply reply over to this one and ask for that. We'll make sure we send it your way so you understand how the 1031 exchange works. Of course, cross over all this with your CPA. Make sure you talk about it. These are just conceptual, and I'm no CPA, that these are the concepts of how real estate investors take advantage of real estate as a superior investment vehicle over other asset classes that don't have these types of incentives built in by the IRS, which, by the way, they build them in because they want us to use them. The tax code is really the government's way, or the IRS's way, the government's way of letting us know what they want us to do, what they want us to invest in. So one of the most interesting things we could do is listen, pay attention, and actually use what they've given us, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be providing it. So there's the way that a lot of real estate income can actually become tax deferred. And if you 1031 and just hold until the time of your death, you don't actually have to 1031, by the way. You could hold that property to the time of your death. You can refinance out cash along the way and get access to tax-free capital, your own equity. And if you do that, you essentially never pay the tax so long as you don't sell without a 1031 exchange prior to the time of your passing. Now, there's an even more advanced strategy around this. It's called the cost segregation, where you can accelerate even more of that depreciation that you're taking in later years. But not everything in the house has a 26-year schedule. There's some things in it, like the plumbing and just appliances, different things that you could actually accelerate the depreciation on and do it either on a 1-year or 5-year schedule. That's way beyond the scope of this conversation, but a very simple conversation for you to have with your CPA. So if you want to look deeper into that, ask your CPA or your tax professional about cost segregations. They'll be able to explain that to you. But these three tools, whether it be this right here that we're talking about, how to take advantage of depreciation, whether it's the cash out refinance, so you could basically create a new tax bracket for yourself, right? You're taking tax-free money. Your interest rate basically becomes your tax bracket versus what would have been had you sold the property, and utilizing the 1031 exchange. Those are 3 tools that real estate investors use to create disproportionate wealth. I hope they'll serve you. If we can help you answer questions or answer questions for anybody you know, of course, we're here to do so, and we'll see you on the next video.
Whether you're buying or selling, the answer is clear. Go with beer, the Beer Home Team.